So, you're looking to buy a E85 Z4. Let's give you some advice. So, first thing you need to check out when you're buying a Z4 is, in my opinion, would be the front and the rear setup when it comes to your shock absorbers and your springs. Because the back springs, I can guarantee you, if they are the same springs that came with a car from factory, they're going to be broken by now. These cars are, they're getting on a bit now, so I guarantee you if they've got the original springs and shocks on, they're going to need changing. And you could think about the same thing about the fronts as well. They do take a bit of a battering. They are quite low to the ground. So the first thing I'll be checking is make sure your springs and your shocks are up for the job. Right, second thing that could be quite costly is the roof. Make sure that works, because there's got a hydraulic motor that is down there somewhere. You have to take the roof off to actually see it, but it sits down there, and what happens is after a while that fills up with water. If you keep your car outside for anyway. And now they've got like a little drain plug which is under there somewhere, where you should be trying to drain that out every now and then. But what happens is leaves and stuff get stuck down there, they block that up, fills up with water and destroys your hydraulic pump. Now you definitely, I think they cost around £1,000, so you're talking about over €1,000 to replace that. And then you've got to get somebody who's going to do the job, so it could be quite costly. So make sure that's working. Plus, another option to your hydraulic pump is a lot of people put them in the boot. So if we go into the boot in my car, you can see it's got a little flap here, and what they've done is they've taken the hydraulic pump out of its original place and stuck it there, and put this little panel there as well just to keep it unsighted. So and that's an option a lot of people do. So normally when you get a problem with it, people put it in the boot, and then I don't think that costs that much money either. You know, there's people in England I know that do it for quite good money. But if you ever did have trouble with your roof, I would advise that's the way to get around it. Now, under the bonnet, these engines are generally bulletproof. Straight six BMW engines, they really give you trouble, but there are a few things that definitely will go wrong or have already gone wrong. And the first one is going to be your water pump and your thermostat, which is down there somewhere. It's pretty hard to see. It'd be good to check the history to see that that's been changed, because at some point the thermostat and the water pump will go out. It does cost a bit of money. It's not life-changing money, but it'd be good to see whether or not that's been changed. Another common fault on these engines is the disc valve, which is there, and you can see it's just two screws holding that on. So if it were ever to go out, it'd be a really easy fix that you could do yourself. The part can be quite expensive though, but this is one of the things that can go wrong on these cars. And before we finish in the engine bay, also another problem that you might find with these series of BMW Z4s is that the rocker cover gasket is leaking oil as well. You can check that, but that's pretty common on most BMW, so it shouldn't really put you off buying the car. But it's just something to be aware of, because I've had mine done a few years back, so you could always bargain a little bit with the price if it hasn't been done. But generally, when you're buying one of these, just make sure it's got a good service history on it as well. Just make sure the oil has been changed regularly, because like I said, I've had this car for 5 years. I've had no issues with this car because I change the oil every year. It doesn't matter how many miles I do in it. It's a summer car for me, so I don't do a lot of miles on it, but I change the oil every year, because I know that these, especially this one, it's the N52 engine. If you change the oil in it, it'll go on for 300,000–400,000 miles, no problem. So my car is the facelift model. You can tell the facelift model because it comes with the rear lights, as you can see there, and also the front bumper is a different design. If you look at the earlier models, especially with the fog lamp, you would find that they were round and circular. Now, the issue with the earlier models, which is pre-2006, you could experience what then is known in the BMW world as sticky steering. Right now, what happens there is when it's a hot day and the car warms up, it can steer awkwardly at high speeds on the motorway, which is quite dangerous, I think. So you'd want to check actually that the previous owner has addressed that issue, because there was a recall or there was a fix to it. And if you buy the 2006 models, that fix has already been done, so you don't have to worry about that. But anything under 2006 facelift, then you would have to look out for whether or not the fix for the sticky steering has been carried out. When you're looking at the spec, what would I recommend? Heated seats. Yeah, I would definitely recommend trying to get one with heated seats, because I'm not sure how hard that is to retrofit afterwards. Sport button, I think most of them come with that sport button anyway. So, but when it comes to things like the cruise control, I wouldn't bother too much about that, because they're really, really easy to retrofit, especially if you have a pre-facelift model. It's literally by the stalk, and from then it's plug and play. All the wiring and everything is already in the car. They've just kind of like taped it up underneath the shroud here. But yeah, so if you have a pre-2004, it's really easy. If you have this model, because I mean, I've retrofitted a cruise control on there myself. I'll leave the link to the video in the description there. But it's quite easy as well. But it's just a few more steps you have to take, running a few bit of cabling and stuff like that. But it's still quite easy. So if you found a car without cruise control and cruise control was like the deal breaker for you, I would still buy that car, because it's really, really easy to retrofit. There you have, that's just a few things. But looking at my car now, it's just taken out the garage, it looks absolutely filthy. So I think I'll take it down to the car wash and give it a bit of a clean up, and we can see just how she looks after that. But they're the extra things that I can think of when you're checking out, especially the Z4 E85 variant. General checks, like, you know, you check the oil to make sure there's nothing suspicious going on there. Make sure that all the maintenance has been taken care of. My car, for instance, I've done some upgrades myself on this, so this car has been looked after me personally, and sometimes I've been leaving it into the garage to get the stamps in the book. But yeah, just make sure the car's been looked after, and these cars are pretty reliable, and they'll give you years and years of fun. Don't let the high mileage, mine's a high mileager, don't let that put you off a sell. You can bargain with the price with that, but don't let it put you off the sell. As long as you've got proof that the oil's been changed on a regular basis, then these cars are good to go. But they're going to last you hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles if you look after them. You know, BMWs, they've got these little small plastic parts that do sort of get hard, and the plastic gaskets that get hard over time. But as long as you keep up your regular maintenance and don't be lazy on it, if you see a warning signal on your dash, make sure you take care of it straight away. These things go on forever. I've got a 2.5 SI, which gives me 220 brake horsepower on the 2006 facelift model. So if I was going to advise you, I would get a 3 litre, or if you get one of the later models, make sure it's an SI, and then you've got plenty of power. But yeah, I mean, I've had the car for 5 years. Maybe it's time to move on, but I still enjoy the car. So hopefully this helps you out. If I've missed out something that you feel is important, also add it into the description below. And thanks for watching the channel, and we'll see you all again next week for some more Cars of Sweden live.